He's got Giannantonio for company in more ways than one, and Diggio quite fancies a bit of a reference here from Marc Marquez to see where Marc is stronger. Well, Marc isn't as stronger relative to Diggio as he was earlier on in the day. 0.6 of a second between them this morning, only 1/10 between them at this stage. And to Giannantonio, we know he's super strong late in races. Diggio will have been saying, just give me a place on the front row or the front 2 rows and I can go racing from there. Diggio looks like he's got all the ingredients right now.
Morbidelli is absolutely cream sector 1. Frankie Morbidelli's come through the first split by over 1/10 of a second. That's lightning speed by Morbidelli in that first split. Good lap coming here from Bagnaia, who needs one as well because he's been pushed down to the wrong end of that top 10. Through the third sector, Bagnaia goes. He's lost a 1/10, but up into P5. Keeping a close eye on Morbidelli on the 21 bike. Morbidelli is delivering a showstopper here in the Sachsenring. His name just popped up on your screens, as you can see. He's up by nearly 1/10.5. Let's just track his progress now through sector 3. Here comes the Giannantonio, who stays second. Bezzecchi now up to third in the factory Aprilia. That's some say by Bez after his early crash at turn 13. Morbidelli surely going to be in the top 3 here.
Lightning quick first sector 2 for Acosta, who's also gone red through the first sector. So has Pecco Bagnaia now on his next lap. Here comes Morbidelli, surely improving on 8, up into 3rd place now. It's 2 and 3 for VR46.
And at the moment, Fabio Quartararo out of the top 10.
Not for long.
He needs this big lap, doesn't he, Quartararo? He has delivered some of the best single time attack laps we've seen in 2025. This young man has been, at times, on a different level on the factory Yamaha when he's got soft rubber on that wide-start M1. Over the line he goes. That's more like it, isn't it? 11th to second. Pedro Acosta, let's keep an eye on him as well. Down in 9th place, so he too needs a big lap as Quartararo charges into the gravel trap into turn 1. What about Acosta? Over the line, 9th to 3rd. That's surely job done as far as Acosta's concerned.
Ayagura had briefly gone up into the top 10. He's been bumped back out, and confirmation now it is a 19 that you need to be through. Agura's 20.0, only enough for 11th at the moment. Bagnaia was also going very quickly, but he's gone off somewhere in the 3rd sector. Bagnaia's been shuffled back to 9th place now.
Yeah, Acosta in 3rd. He's the only KTM at the moment inside that top 10. Vinales is 12th. Brad Binder's woes continues, having a shocking Friday once again, the South African. He's mired way down in 18th place at the moment. So we're still waiting to see if on Friday at least Jorge Martin's 1:19.423 all-time lap record will go. But Giannantonio is having a feral crack at it, isn't he? Tucked in here once again behind Marc Marquez. He did say yesterday, when Marc's the master of the Sachsenring, well, if you can't beat him, join him, mimic him. And that's what Diggio is trying to do at the moment, although he's made a bit of a hash of that.
Yeah, Pecco Bagnaia was up behind him and has also had to roll out a lap. Bagnaia is going to be looking over his shoulder a little bit in the remainder of this session, in 9th place, with riders improving behind him, including Brad Binder, who's just from nowhere found the fastest first sector of the afternoon.
And boy, does he need it, because as we mentioned, he's way down in 18th place. Binder's best lap time so far, 1:20.325. That's nearly 9/10 of a second behind Marc at the top of the leaderboard. Ralf Fernandez has just moved up to 12th. If he's going to make it back-to-back front row starts here in Germany, he's going to likely have to do it coming out of Q1.
Binder's lap still looking good in the 2nd sector and through the 3rd sector. He's only 1/10.5 adrift here. He won't be too far away from his teammate Pedro Acosta if he can keep this going. Quartararo's session has come to an early end, perhaps out of gas, and needing a bit of a top-up to go back out on circuit. But we need to be watching Brad Binder on the factory KTM as we take a look at Quartararo, who did run on at the end of turn 1 after setting that 1:19.5. That was how hard he was pushing on the way to Scotland. Binder has gone up into 10th place on a 1:19.7.
That's unbelievable. That shot it from Fabio Quartararo. Let's talk about, we got the king of the stop. He's Toprak Razgatlioglu joining the Yamaha camp next year. Yeah, fair play to Binder. Fair play, because he's had to dig deep for that lap. A 1:19.733. Your top 10, we know it's a short layout here. The Sachsenring, shortest circuit on the Grand Prix calendar, but the top 10 are covered by less than 3/10 of a second.
Not for much longer. Look at this from Giannantonio. He's 3/10 up on his own. Maverick Vinales just went over for a 19.7. He's P11. If you said to him before the session began, a 19.7 Maverick, he'd say, well, that's Q2 then. Not the case.
This could be history beckoning for the Giannantonio. We could be seeing a 118 coming in. Alex Marquez has pulled a rabbit out of that. A 119.408. That is a new all-time lap record. Alex Marquez has been absolutely sensational. But what about this from Fabio De Giannantonio? A 119.071. So close to the first ever a 118 lap here in the Sachsenring. He absolutely destroys the old all-time lap record. Second crash of the session for Fermin Aldeguer. But Fabio De Giannantonio said all season long he's been struggling to get anything out of a Michelin soft rear tyre in time attack mode. I think it's fair to say we can bury that particular story, because that is some lap from De Giannantonio. Unbelievable. 119.071.
Well, I've heard it said before, the speed is back, folks. Digia's back. A 119.0 is a third of a second quicker than anybody else. And Fermin Aldeguer's crash at turn 13 has potentially just cost Maverick Viñales a place in the top 10. He was on a personal best and caught the yellows for Aldeguer's crash. Maverick Viñales will miss out, and Binder survives in 10th.
Nasty one. This a real big slap on the left-hand side here for Aldeguer. Just look at that. This is the super slow motion replay. And the front tyre just not hanging in there underneath Aldeguer, who was pushing really hard. Well, Fabio De Giannantonio has talked so much of late about having to sort out his time attack performances. He says, by his own admission, they've not been good enough. They've been costing him the chance to be in the mix for podiums, be in the mix for potential victories. So good has been his race pace. But it's the number 49 that upstages Marc Marquez. Is a late crash here for Johann Zarco as well. That's his second tumble of practice Friday here. That's a rapid one as well for Zarco. Turn 8 is not a place you want to be jumping off a MotoGP bike here in the Sachsenring. Multiple big barrel rolls through the gravel trap for Zarco. That's going to shake him up, no question about that. The 34-year-old Frenchman. He turns 35 next week, does Zarco. And you get older, those sort of big crashes, they take a little bit of extra time just to recover from. So 2 falls today for Zarco, 2 falls today for Aldeguer, and that's dumped both of them into Q1. Tough Friday for Aldeguer, down in 16th place. But what an absolutely unbelievable lap by De Giannantonio. What I have to say, that display there from Digia shows us that if we get a dry Q2 tomorrow, surely we are going to get a first ever 118 lap. 119.071. Take a bow, Fabio De Giannantonio.